Coming up on Oily Trash Movies.
Oh, man. I'm trying to say this word that's not American. Neuchatel. Neuchatel? No, that's wrong. It has to be Neuchatel.
All right, and we're live. Hello, and welcome to Oily Trash Movies.
I knew you were recording me because you're like, try to say it different ways. You bastard!
All right, well, I didn't get you this time. This episode's canceled. Our bit has finally run its course. So this is the only podcast in the world that... What do we do again? We watch movies, we say unfunny things. This is episode 33. I guess if you haven't figured out what we're doing by now, we can't help you. There's no helping you.
Yeah, and if you're new and you just stumbled upon it, follow us. Because if you don't, we threaten you from the internet. That's what we can do. That's the power we hold. We can ban you from the internet, from YouTube.
Basically, you'll never be able to leave your house.
Exactly. You'll be house arrested. You would be so afraid to step outside because we might be out there watching you.
Anyway, we're your hosts. I'm Daddy WarBux.
And I'm Bublegum Barbie.
And it's still October, so it still means it's Trash Halloween.
So spooky. Woo.
And we got a great episode today. We're going to be watching Consecration, which is a movie about our favorite mutual friend, Ontmom. But before we get into that, last week we watched Murder Size.
Murder Size. What did we watch? Oh, yeah. I forgot about that movie. Okay, start from here. I forgot about that movie. I forgot that it existed. It's been like in my brain. It's stored for a couple days, and it just threw it away. It was horrible. I respect it because it's an indie film, and for the budget and for the effort that they did, it's fine. The cast was because those are characters that nobody else is gonna want to portray besides the actors that they hired. So that's one thing I really liked about the movie. Everything else was okay. I wished there was a little more gore to it. I wish there was more synchronization or idea of where, like, if our murderers were in one room, it's gonna stay the same. It's an office. The location was in an office building that they rented. It would have been nice for them to really know where, or as the audience being told where in the location they were, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you wanted more establishment as to where we were located geographically. Is that the right word?
Exactly. Yes, because I hated where the murderer was in one room and then all of a sudden he's where the other characters in the other room across the room were. It didn't make sense at the end where things just started kicking off. Everybody was everywhere. They were just appearing as ghosts. You know, they were in one room and then they were in the next room right away. I think that's an editing issue, possibly. That would have been nice to be fixed. The audio would have been nice to be fixed a little bit. I'm kind of forgiving when it comes to indie films, when it comes to noise, because it's expensive. You know, it's hard. You get a sound guy. You have to have the equipment.
You got to get rid of your shitty mics.
You have to, yeah, or usually they don't have mics. Obviously, this movie, they didn't have mics, which is why it sounds the way it sounds, specifically with these type of indie films. If it sounds that way, you could just recognize it, no mics. I get it. There was a lot of characters, not enough mics, not enough equipment, forgivable. But overall, I think it was a fun movie, but it wasn't a great movie. It passed as an indie production, but I've seen better.
Yeah, I think, having done the edit, I think we were overly hard on it because we did really enjoy the beginning, specifically the writing and the humor part of it, because it is a horror comedy, and the humor was pretty good. And then it lost us on the third act, where it sort of became a sexploitation movie, and all of the humor left it. We had terrible actors, and we just had scenes that, it's not even that they were uncomfortable, they were just... They were just they just turned you off. It's what you would call losing the audience, I think. For instance, the killers hold a gun on the stripper woman, and she sort of is like forced to take off her clothes. And I think how that should have been played out is so the killers are all holding them up, and the stripper woman should have, of her own volition, started stripping as a way to distract these guys. And then once they're distracted, then that's when you come up behind them with the hammer. Because the whole third act of the movie, well, up until the climactic chainsaw scene, was just a really it really made me dislike the movie and it dislike everybody involved. And because of that, we ended up hating the movie way more than we would have without those scenes.
It was interesting in that retrospect, and the casting was done where nobody else is going to want to do these characters.
Oh, all right. So enough about Murder Size. All right, so that was Murder Size. We both rated it oily. I don't have anything more to say about it. But this week, we have a movie that looks like it might actually be pretty good. It's called Consecration. What can you tell us about this?
The director is Christopher Smith. The writers are Christopher Smith and Lorraine Cook. And they were nominated for a fest and niche. What did I say? What was the word? You guys heard me in the beginning of this intro. So they were nominated for that.
I want to say it's Neuchâtel.
I don't think so. Neuchâtel, something like that. So it was nominated for that Neuchâtel Film Festival. And the description is, after the alleged side of her priest brother, Grace travels to the remote Scottish convent where he fell to his death. Distrusting the church's account, she uncovers murder. What the heck is that word?
Sacrilege.
Sacrilege and a disturbing truth about herself. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. We have intrigue. We've got murder mystery. We've got, best of all, sexy nuns.
Yeah, I think this is a great movie. This is the horror movies that I really appreciate. Anything that's kind of like old Catholic religion, demonic, freaks me out. I might have nightmares if this is good. Let's go.
This is, I think, our third or fourth Shudder original, and we've actually had pretty good success with Shudder. Alright, very interesting that the nuns, their costumes are pure white, as opposed to the typical black and white. Oh my god, a nun with a revolver?
This episode is dedicated to our wonderful, beautiful Ontmom. We love you.
We may have mentioned her in a previous episode or two.
I think we mention her every episode.
Okay, so this is already a theme here. So it's going to be about how somebody perceives the world. She helps people see things as they are. Oh my god, that was all in the reflection of that mirror? What an amazing shot.
That was awesome.
That had to be a digital effect, though. Aww.
Oh, look, it's my cat. Like, you need to pray your rosary right now.
I hope this devolves into a nun slasher, where she's just like...
Oh, that would be so cool.
Stabbing people with like sharpened crosses, like in Candyland.
Oh, yeah.
Strangling them with rosary beads.
Oh my god. Did you see The Nun?
I did. This is like a nun horror ghost movie.
Oh
Man, the beautiful Scottish countryside.
Beautiful drone shots. I mean, come on, breathtaking.
Oh, a switchback? That's my favorite. That nun has one eye. It's another breadcrumb in that theme of vision. Mm-hmm. Our main character is an ophthalmologist, and we already have a side character that has one eye.
Look, his eye is bruised up.
You're right. Another symbol, another eye-related symbol.
I'd be pissed if this movie doesn't go back with the eye symbol and we have to cut all our eye symbol stuff.
We'll just make it up. When the movie ends, oh my god.
Oh god. Ah! Oh my gosh.
The youngest, hottest nun in the entire convent.
Like, I'm leaving.
I gotta go. Take care, comb your hair. That is the spookiest kid's mask I've ever seen.
That is the trashiest kid mask I've ever seen.
What the hell? We're having flashbacks to the Middle Ages now? This church is beautiful.
Yeah, I love churches.
The table is in the shape of a cross.
Did you see it perhaps in your mind's eye?
Ooh, your mind's eye.
Well, Ontmom did educate us that the all-seeing eye is a symbol of God. Are you gonna jump off?
That's what it looks like.
No, he's a character.
Oh, I see. You walk back, you take a step backwards for every sin you have.
Oh.
You have the church's full support, and I will help you.
God, is this guy's name Priest Exposition?
Peekaboo! Fuck! Mother will wash your filthy mate with soap and water.
You just jumped up behind a woman in the middle of the night.
Peekaboo.
Hey, even Peekaboo sort of fits in with the theme of, like, now you see me, now you don't. You know, you cover your eyes and then shout Peekaboo.
Oh my goodness. Look at those teeth.
Oh, is that her dad? And she's being locked in a cage? Her colleague was like, nah, you don't have any psychological trauma that would cause you to have hallucinations. Man, this became especially dark very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no way he could go down there. Is he gonna pull her from her feet? Ah!
Oh, what the hell?
The little brother escaped somehow.
No, it's gotta be like a demon or an angel.
Is that the father? That's where he lays? Or her brother? Is that what the holy water is?
I have no idea how churches work. I'll be honest.
I need Ontmom. Oh my goodness, a dungeon. Oh my goodness.
You hear the fat nuns out there?
To present your whole being,
Oh my god, that's freaking me out that they're on the wrong side of the road.
holy and acceptable.
I was like, ah, you're gonna get hit.
Like, so does she just have some sort of demon guardian, like a guardian demon?
Remember the movie said that she mentioned the like her first line is like, Father told me that I had a guardian angel.
Was that a line?
Yeah, that was a line. Yep.
I don't think it's an angel. Or maybe it is, because I guess these nuns are pretty bad, so killing them isn't the worst outcome.
We bless you, vessel of true sight.
Vessel of true sight.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Dang.
So she is evil, and they were just trying to contain her.
Yep. Well, they were just like 2 inches away from it. Like, why did the nuns just like panic? Like, she would have been contained.
You think he could have just whispered, okay, now it's time to seal the tomb. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hocus pocus, remember?
Like, hello, cops. She's dripping in blood.
Yeah.
Back at her house. She was the nun that she saw in the mirror.
Oh my goodness. It's a cyclical story.
She did it.
She was her own guardian angel. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a time travel movie, but with God, I guess.
Yeah, she's a superhero. She's her own superhero.
Getting pale, man.
That was cool.
Well, I feel like so much for the big action scene we were hoping for.
I know, right?
Man, I really wanted that blood orgy.
This cop character is stupid. I would have just cut him completely. But I get it. You need a cop too. You need the law.
Yeah, she's just having a pint.
She's just hanging out. Yeah. No one thought to look at a bar.
I don't know, the idea of a time-traveling evil nun is difficult to wrap my head around.
Oh,
man. Get denunned. Huh, wow. Alright, that was Consecration.
Yeah, I need to think about this one for a minute.
This really feels like the kind of movie that you need to watch again, or at least watch in a more serious setting than the oily trash
Oily trash
movies.
movies.
Sort of. But no, this was.
Are you saying? Are you saying we're not serious?
Wow,
We're not serious.
we're like trying to like make jokes throughout this, and it's like, oh, this is actually not the silly trash movie we maybe sort of expected. That was going to be about killer nuns.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I guess this is all right. Let me start from the beginning. I guess I like this. This was certainly captivating. I felt captivated. I felt riveted. 91 minutes, so much stuff happened. It was beautiful. Everything about this movie was beautiful. The mystery was well structured, but I think the mystery itself was a little bit shallow with, oh, they're looking for a relic. She's the relic. You could have had a bit more twists and turns. You know, maybe, the whole premise seemed to be set up like she was there to discover the truth behind her brother's death. And, I felt like maybe you could have had a scene where she learns a little bit of it, and then maybe like what she thought she knew was wrong, and then learned something more. But she basically just went down into the first murder dungeon, and the entire thing was revealed to her that they were torturing him, and then he stabbed the priest with the iron poker, and that was it. So I felt like you could have done a little bit more of the mystery aspect, but even so, I was thoroughly entertained. My attention was rapt. What did you like about this movie?
I loved the location. I mean, come on. It is beautiful, beautiful shots. Drone shots were great. The Catholic Church was amazing. All this historic settings and nature, fantastic. The acting was on point. Oh, I really like the whole icing symbolism, the mirrors or reflections of it. That was good. Also, what I found interesting about this is the kind of the history of it. I think historians may somewhat see it as a horror movie. I mean, it's a horror movie, silly fantasia, but there is historic accuracy in some way into this film. One being the clash between the pagan religion versus the Catholic religions. Two of the oldest religions, pagan dying somewhat out due to the Catholic wars and everything that was going on in the Middle Age era, which we did have that whole scene, especially when it comes to Scotland. I think that was great because the whole theory about those circle rocks, that was like a pagan thing, and she was in the middle as a child with her really creepy mask on, and there was people kind of worshiping her in a sense, and then the Catholic knights came in, caged her up, and made her so the historic aspect of it, that was great. I really, really, really liked that. I mean, come on, beautiful, beautiful. I hated this cop. I really didn't care for his character. I see why they had him, but I would rewrite him all over again. I would just either, I don't know, have him established of him seeing why are all these nuns, I mean, he was there. He was investigating the death of her brother, but I feel like he wasn't really, as a cop and as an investigator, wasn't really taken seriously. There wasn't really much research done in how a cop does research. So if they're not going to do that, then don't do it. Just have, a smaller role for him, of him just asking, interrogating, stuff questions. Like him showing up to the church in the middle of the night was so stupid. And then telling her, it's like, don't do it. She's like, bloody. I mean, I get it. Like there was no back history. If you're going to do that, at least have like one shot of him seeing all the deaths and all the murders. Like, oh, she's evil, seeing the scenes of the girl who hurt herself and assuming that it was her, the nun whose arms are twisted and stabbed, she stabbed herself, that shot, the priest being impaled in over the altar. Seeing the cops seeing that as an investigator, I think would have been really good. I think him as a character, as a supporting actor, hosh posh. Rewrite it. The priest was good. The old nun was good. Yeah, overall, I think this was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I was into it. Again, I think something that we have to watch again away from oily trash movies and stop making jokes and really digest this film because there's a lot of winners here.
I needed more exposition near the end, I think, to explain specifically what Grace's powers were, because again, it just looked like she was this magic time traveling nun that was invincible. Like, why doesn't she go back and kill baby Hitler if she can do all this stuff?
Exactly. I agree. Her powers of her being a time travel nun was kind of weird. I feel like they didn't want to go full religion. They didn't want to go.
That was almost my problem, is that I feel like I didn't get a lot of the stuff because it was too religion for me, and that's just an area, a subject that I'm not educated on enough to really maybe understand all of the stuff. Maybe a little bit more explanation about the eye. I know that they called her the true vision at the end, but what does that mean? What do you mean the true vision? Like, it's obviously more than vision. She can travel through time and cause car wrecks.
Right. I think how you solve that, I agree with you. And how you solve that, I think the book needed to have more of the brother give more of the answers. I feel like it was rushed a bit, and the brother knew more than she did because she didn't remember anything. I think I would have liked this whole. They had the prop. They had a great prop. It would have been great for them to do like a whole monologue of the brother just saying things, saying, "Oh, my sister was found in the ocean, and she was blah blah blah, and brought my father back to life, and blah 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 blah. The theory of my sister, she's this holy relic," and then like talking about the history of religion of they can make it up, they knew the writers and the directors knew enough about the history on religion. I feel that they could have gotten inspiration from other things and then elaborate more on those theories because there's so much. The reason why I like religion things is because there's so much history that you could be inspired of and retell, which is why it still lives to this day, even though it's a million years and years and years and years old. I think that would have been great. That's how you fix that, because I agree with you. I feel like she wasn't explained enough, and if it's going into the religious route, I think they needed a little more story of her. You could solve it by just having the brother say a really big monologue of what he's found of his research.
And you can even break it up because she found the book, which again, I agree with you. They did not use that book prop nearly enough because it was like 600 pages. Like, what did she learn? Like, anything? It had her translate one sentence in that whole book.
Yeah.
And then you could breadcrumb it through the rest of the movie by like, oh, some of the pages are missing, and she says, I know that old biddy nun tore out some of these pages, and then maybe he tore them out and hid them in various places that he knew she would look for.
Mm-hmm. And the big reveal would have been right here in this shot where he's physically talking to her. I think that would have been great for him to explain why she has the ability, who she is. That would have been great.
Right here, he needs to pull the missing pages out of his pocket and hand them to her. And then, like, the three nuns just see, like, it makes it look like the pages just, like, blow away in the wind. But then she takes them and hides them where she knows she would look for them. So the whole time you thought she was following breadcrumbs left by the brother, but it was his words and she was leading the breadcrumbs for herself. I don't know. I think there should have been a giant action set piece at the end. A lot of people hate horror movies that start slow and creepy and then devolve into action movies. But that only sucks when the movie sucks. When the movie's good, you can do it. Super Deep had the big, giant, crazy action scene at the end when it really wasn't an action movie. Suspiria had the big, super crazy action scene at the end. This, I think, would have done well to have a little bit more crazy action at the end. Like, when the father gets stabbed, then maybe she just picks up a couple knives. Like, everybody had knives. There's, like, more knives in that church than there were nuns.
There was more knives in that church than there were big spoons on their soup.
Yeah, so, like, just have her pick up some knives and just start hacking all of the rest of the nuns to pieces. That would be awesome. blood spraying everywhere, women screaming and running into each other and doing crazy nun slapstick stuff. Would have been great.
I agree with you. It would have been great if once she impaled the father, it just goes nuts. She is angry. She's out for revenge because they attempted to lock her in a grip and let her die there and rot. I mean, come on. That would have been great if they just went full blown out. I see why. I think it was a call as to, because they also said that, her brother says you're not evil. So I think they wanted to be a little softer because they wanted to make her good. And I think they wanted the audience to make that decision for her. Is she good or is she evil?
Well, it's ambiguous, because there really is no such thing as good or evil. She did things that were good, and she did things that were evil. That's what most people probably do in their life. Nobody is 100% pure nun all their life.
Unless Ontmom.
Except for well, we won't get into that. We won't get into Ontmom's dark and seedy past.
What would you rate this movie?
I think I feel comfortable giving this 5 WarBux. I do think I liked Super Deep better, but just not much. This is definitely going in the top 10, I think, though. Nothing about this movie was oily or trash meat. The writing was good. The cinematography was beautiful. It's a very artful film. It's really a movie that I'm going to think about, as opposed to, say, Murder Size, which we've already forgotten 90% of the plot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, goodness. Another Shudder taking another award. I agree with you. I think I do. It's funny because I also think I like Super Deep a little more. I think this is going to be below that. It was really good. I was intrigued. I was expecting a nun movie, a spooky nun movie, and that's what I got. I mean, come on, this outfit costume, it's great. If you don't have an idea what you want to be for Halloween, this is a good one right here. Just all in white and just blood all over you, Geez, I think I would give this. Yeah, I really liked it. I think I would give it also 5 bubblegums for sure.
Okay, we pretty much in line. You know what? One last thing that I wish had happened, the eye patch nun. I want a scene where she takes that bandage off and her eye is just like bright red from like internal bleeding in the eye, or she like weeps a tear of blood, which would have some religious significance. I just wanted to see the eye. It could be a gaping hole. It could be like black, something. Like to have that bandaged eye the entire movie, I felt that it was a setup, and when there was no payoff, I'm disappointed, because she was a great prop.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been cool if even where she was in New York and you have like the older nun trying to shoot her, and then she gets ran over, right? And then you see the other nun and she removes the eye patch and there's like whatever it is, dark, or she's crying with blood. Like that would have been cool, and she's on the other side, right? That would have been a great ending. Cut to black, fantastic. Who knows what it was? Awesome.
Hey, how about this? So she did the optometrist study on the woman going blind at the very beginning, and her iris was like all screwed up. How about when we see the nun get her eye patch torn off? That was that woman's eye, and it's like she swapped their eyes somehow with her magic, and then that's why the woman was cured, because she literally took the eye from the evil nun.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with this. With that, that would be cool. I would recommend watching this movie on this month in October. Watch it with your buds. Watch it by yourself. Watch it at night. Watch it under your bed. It's a good, entertaining movie.
This is definitely more of a watch at night, home alone by yourself kind of movie than like a party movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is an alone at night kind of movie. Oh.
When there's a full moon on Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Go into your woods outside.
All right, take care, comb your hair.
And remember the mace in that old nun's face.
Bye!